Whew. Ooh, wee. Oh, right. I think I'm a little jerky this morning. Some jerky. Almost didn't make it. Good morning, everybody. Had some storms come through last night about 10:15 Central Time. Knocked out our power. And so that was a quick night, preventing me from doing a little bit more preparation. But good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever this finds you, what time of the day. So thanks for joining. I'm Sean. If you don't know me, you don't know me. I'm an adult. So Blake, I saw you chime in. Blake, Ryan, first in. Kelly, good to see you. Harrigan, Tad, Michael, Phil, already off to a great starting lineup. It's like a baseball starting lineup. So like I was saying, I had some, and I changed a couple things. Like this angle's a little different. I moved something over. I'm a mess. Anyways, so power went out, torrential downpour. Very interesting to go out in a torrential downpour. Not probably the smartest move, but with all the lights out in the whole neighborhood. But they came on, like the power came on. I'm like, I think I got up in the middle of the night, probably around 3 a.m. Still the power was out. So it's been out the longest since I've been conscious, probably in 20 years. Like it's been a long time. Most of the times I'll wake up and the power, like the clocks are off and I'll go, oh, we had a power outage, but I never know how long it was. This time it was like literally 10:15 to like 5:20 in the morning Central Time. So it came on, and then it was like everything comes on at once, and I've got lights that have been on, so the whole house is lit up before the sun's come up, and I got a dog that's freaking out, and what a mess. Anyways. And then my life is in chaos right now. My organization, I'm too cluttered. I got too much stuff going on around here. I got to clean. And then Augie is over there. He's going to start doing stuff. Look at him. Can you see him? Right there. Maybe not. Maybe the camera maybe not down far enough. Get down right now. Get down. Go on. All right. So if I look off a little bit as far as camera goes, it's because my glasses are dirty. I can't see it. All right. Which means like the question du jour. It's a little off. Hey, Orcus Dorcas. Let's see. Ask that one. Oh, I got another one. I got one that can work today. Lou, good to see you. Ryan, good to see you. Everybody. I was just telling everybody how my power came on this morning, and I haven't done much prep because it was out all night. I was surprised to find like I think all the ice cubes in my freezer were still frozen. Like they hadn't melted to any significant degree. So that was good. I'm just glad that everything's like back to normal. How disruptive. And it's like 7 hours. It's not like I had a freaking tornado hit my house like some people during these wacky storms across the country. I can't imagine. I can't imagine like talk about being thrown into chaos. So yeah, pretty much first world problems. Pretty ridiculous, honestly, when you look at it. Yeah, he's trying to take a nip of the gin for sure. Orcus Dorcas. Ryan West just dropped by before hitting the road, going to a niece and nephew's kid's birthday party, driving for a couple hours. Nice. We'll drive safely. Are you is Uncle Ryan gonna be dressed up as a clown? Hey everybody. Hey Uncle Ryan. I'm not Uncle Ryan. I'm Flippy. What's up, William? All right, we're going to do this. So let's start off with the question du jour. The question du jour for today. Who is your favorite RPG artist? Who is your favorite RPG artist? If it's RPG adjacent, I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with that. Katron, good to see you. Set my alarm to make sure I didn't miss today. Nice. I'm guessing you didn't have a power outage in your neck of the woods. Blake Ryan off to the races. He says James E. Shields does good stuff, Kickstarters and stock art. Very nice. Many of these I am not going to know. Like, I don't know a lot of artists by name. I probably know them by work, maybe. Gabe Dibbing and Angus McBride. Angus McBride, Rule Master / Middle Earth Role Playing. I would have to say one of my favorites is Keith Parkinson. Rest in peace. Keith Parkinson. Many people were like Elmore fans. I think I was when I was growing up. And then as I got older, I'm like, I actually have a more appreciation for Keith's work. Wayne Peacock says, David Mullen, DCC, etc. Peter, ? Harrigan says, Peter? What about Peter? Who's Peter? Peter. M. Catron, Samuel Aurea, artist from All Flesh Must Be Eaten and White Wolf fame. Oh, Luke K says Peter Mullen, not David Mullen. Peter Mullen. That's right. Arrogance was checking to see if we had the right Mullen. So Luke K says Peter Mullen. Tiffany Reynolds, good to see you. Welcome. Ioana Miguel. She was a Critical Role artist who now turns out great stuff. Wow. Welcome to the chat, by the way. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. And I will have to check out Ioana. I apologize for butchering the name. I think Wayne meant Peter Mullen. I think Wayne meant Peter Mullen. I will get this straight. I will. I promise. So it's Peter Mullen. Final answer. Orcus Dorcas says, old school, Trampier. Current, Mustafa Bakir. Tramp, rest in peace. Frankly, some of these folks are probably still around. Some of them may not be. And some I might not know. So I know Trampier is not around. Keith Parkinson is no longer with us. Michael Holland says Wayne Reynolds, who is like a lot of Pathfinder products. Brian Syme, Johan Egekrans, Kevin Long. No way can I list one person, he says. There's a lot. Tiffany says she's Bulgarian. Very nice. Favorite RPG artist? Yeah, Chris. Yep. Thanks for Blake. So, I mean, there's so many that are really good, right? Like, so many. I mean, just pull out the D&D Art and Arcana. Art and Arcana? Yeah, the Art and Arcana book. Dieter Lisi. And some iconic, right? I don't know if, and some of them we don't really, I mean, it's a personal thing, right? Some of us may not appreciate some of the old stuff or newer stuff. It doesn't have to be old, but who's the guy who did the DMG from Advanced AD&D? Brahm, Orcus Dorcas, Brahm. Yeah, Brahm's a good one. Very iconic. Some of these very much iconic artists. What was I going to say? Shoot, right out my brain. Tony DiTerese. Yeah. Is that your favorite, Chris? That's what Chris says. Tad says classic. David A. Trampier, and current is Dave Raposa. I'll give a shout out to Doug, my buddy Dig Doug from Dungeon Crawl Classics fame. Does a lot of work for Goodman Games. Tiffany says, trying to find a runerist artist, but I can't find her name. Phil McClory says, Keith Parkinson. Now, in the future, what maybe a question is, we talked about your favorite artist. Now, what's your favorite piece? I wouldn't know. I know I could describe them, but I wouldn't know the names of the pieces. Jason Weitzel says, Jason Lutz. Is it Lutz? Lutez? Lute? Like, names, I tell you. Nubis says some newer ones. Luca Rich. I never know how to say Luca's last name. And then Lazy Lich, Nubis says. I know of Luca. I think I followed him on Google Plus for quite some time. Rayetz, that's right. Nubis is correcting me. It's Luca Rayetz, phonetically. I love it how Nubis, I know where Nubis lives, and speaks probably and enunciates better English than I do. It's not his native tongue. Thanks, Nubis. Orcus Dorcas says, favorite piece? The black and white one with the thing and the thing. For sure. Indeed. That's the one I like. No, not that one. The other one. Oh. Give me a break. Give me a break, Nubis. Communicate exceptionally well in English. It's even got some of the American innuendos down, which is even a bigger feat. Because a lot of them don't make sense. Anyways. So Tiffany, I think, is new. I don't know if anybody else is lurking in the chat and hasn't spoken up. So I'm Sean. I did a podcast for 7 years with my co-host Brett called Gaming and BS. And some of the folks that are in the chat that you see have followed that podcast and have become friends of mine over time. Maybe friends, I don't know. Acquaintances, some friends, some acquaintances. We know each other, many from the Discord that we have from a community perspective. So every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Central Time, I get on here and talk about, I open up with the icebreaker question, and then we'll get into some news and what's going on in the RPG hobby. The hobby is big and large, and so I understand that I don't cover everything that probably should be covered. But, you know, if there's something that should be, by all means, bring it up. And I'd be more than happy to bring it up online and to everybody's attention, if you will. Blake Ryan says, RuneQuest, is it Jan Pospisil? perhaps, maybe. Trying to help out, maybe Tiffany. Tad says, wildcard entry, miniature sculptor Julie Guthrie. Oh. I'll have to try to hunt down some of these and maybe put links to their websites and portfolios online. Harrigan says, there are so many. Russ Nicholson, he says. Tiffany says, I have been lurking from BS and here now and then. Oh, well, fantastic. Well, good. Well, then thank you for dipping in and out, if you will. Oh, we'll get to, well, I don't know if we get to cartography. We'll wait on cartography. That may be a whole nother ball game, Marcus Dorcas. Keep that one in your back pocket. I'll have to write that one down. Favorite cartographer. It's a good one. Glenn Seal, he says. And Glenn is, he's any winner. Any winning Glenn Seal cartography. And got a any for cartography. And he's known for the Midderlands. Old school RPG setting based on something century England. From Monkey Shine Designs? Monkey Blood Designs, I believe. Look at that. Still working up here to some degree. Harrigan says Martin Grip as well, Simbaroom and loads of other modern Free League stuff. Yeah, the Free League artists I don't know by name, but we reference them all the time. Well, at least I do, or like some of the art and themes. And I'm guessing Martin Grip, if he did Simbaroom, then he did Blade Runner. He's probably doing Walking Dead, because you can definitely tell. Oh, terrain crafting is a whole other can of worms too. Is it? Are there like special, like I imagine there's some pretty good miniature painters. I don't want to get into too much terrain and miniatures because then you start getting in a little bit of wargaming, which is great and fantastic, but yeah, definitely not my jam. Although I would love to maybe sometime delve into maybe some wargaming, but I don't know. That it's never taken off with me for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just because of ease of kicking it off and partaking. It's not that, I don't know. I like if I play a miniatures game, I prefer to have them painted. I think that's kind of the deal. It always makes me kind of disappointed if I go to a friendly local game store and there might be some event. And if it's not officially sanctioned, because if it's officially sanctioned, many of them require you to have your miniatures painted. But I always get disappointed when I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And then you look across the table and it's all gray. Wah, wah. Lazy ass. Paint your army. Would it kill you to paint your squad? It's 5 miniatures. Phil McClory says, Martin Grip did the chapter pages in the TOR, or The One Ring, as we know, and the GM screen art. Great stuff. Indeed. All very good. I mean, it seems like art in the RPG hobby is kind of a hot button topic nowadays, especially with the advent of AI art. There's quite much discussion around it. So let's give our artists some love, right? And my friend Jeff, he judges all RPGs by their art. So he is a testimonial. He's a testament. He's a testimonial. No, he's a testament to what good art can do for a role-playing game. Bad art, Jeff's not interested. Could be the best mechanics in the world. He's never going to watch us. And if he does, well, hey, Jeff, I'm just telling it like it is, buddy. All right. I think that wraps it up. We're all done with the artists. Thank you for contributing. Really appreciate it. There's so many good ones out there. We thank them for all their hard work and contributions to the RPG hobby. Jeff speaks the truth, Orcus Dorcas says. You know, it does influence my purchasing decisions. I mean, I'm not an anime guy. I'm just not. It's okay if you are. I'm not. I'm not the target audience. So if it has anime art, this guy's probably not going to buy it. I'm thinking that if it's anime art, it probably ties into the tone and theme of the game. And if it's the tone and theme is more anime based, then it's probably not for me. And that's okay, I hope. Christian Serrano, good morning. All right. People want good art, but they don't want to pay for it. It's been on that soapbox lately. Well, there's a debate. It's not a debate. There's a discussion around it. It's not so much a debate. Because I think we all agree we want to support artists. I don't think anybody's come in here and said like, hey, screw those guys. They're making like, $2 an hour. And it's an art. Like it shouldn't be their like no. Nobody is going off on artists, but there is a struggle. If you're like somebody that's putting out a zine and wants to put an art in there, if you are putting that thing out for $10 or whatever, and you've spent, 80 hours on the thing and you're trying to, let's face it, I don't know if you're doing it to actually make money, like be it a profit source, a revenue source, if you will. But so then what happens is if you go to an artist and it costs you $400 for the cover, is it going to make sense for you to, is it going to be profitable for the single person? Now we're not talking game companies or in the game, what's a game company? How's that defined? I would say a game company that has staff, they're incorporated, they're like actually revenue generating, or that's what their purpose is. That's a little different. So that's, I think and then people say, well, then you can get stock art, right? And that's still supporting artists. Yes. So there are options. I don't want to get into that debate today necessarily. But Christian Serrano, since you've shown up, the question about artists that has been spurred is, who is your favorite artist? Your favorite RPG artist, not artist, just RPG artist. Tiffany Reynolds says $600 now. Yeah, the struggle is real. And I think that's, it's good to know. I, who have never put out an RPG, or an RPG related product, which, makes me down here on the chain of RPG people credibility wise. Like some people think if you don't put out an RPG product, you should be talking about RPGs. Anyways, it's funny because not to out my buddy Jeff, he is truly a good guy. He is. He's got some, we're all human. But regardless, I told him about the art piece. Like, 'cause we were talking about the art, and he's like, it's got to have good art and this and that. And I said, well, art's, expensive, Jeff. So there are small press people, individuals that have put out good RPGs, but, sometimes they can't get the art they want, or it's expensive, or the amount of art that they want is probably more in line. And he's like, "Oh, I don't believe that. I'll pull out my own. I'll pull out my own RPG, and I'll do my own art. And it's not that. It can't be that bad." I'm like, but see, that's the thing, right? He doesn't know. He's never had to solicit art from artists and do commissions and things like that. So, and I know. So it's always, my point is, it's always good to be educated on certain things, if you will. Yes, Wayne. Jeff's aesthetics, who knows? Yeah. Tone and theme, a pig-faced orc will get me almost every time, Luke K says. One last deep cut comic book artist, Jeff Darrow, did most of the art for the Underground RPG in the 90s, and it was utterly jaw-dropping. Nice. Good art should quickly give insight into the tone, theme, feel like the cover of a novel does. Yes. But don't judge a book by its cover. Christian Serrano answers the ultimate question. Classic, Parkinson, current, Steve Prescott. There you go. Another vote for Keith. Wayne says, I'm personally very biased towards black and white art. Very good. Oh, I forgot about a true favorite from the old days. Tim Truman. I got dyslexia. Arrogant says, oh, I forgot about a true favorite from the old days, Tim Truman. Gorkus Dorcas says, well, the cover of an RPG book is just as important. I have passed over many a book because the cover art is bad and doesn't draw me in. Yeah, I'd agree. It's part of the marketing piece, I think. Kind of goes in, as far as RPGs go. Tiffany Reynolds says, I once priced a mid-sized book out to be about $3,000 in art. Yeah, and I bet you it's great, and it's good art, and it's totally worth it from like putting it in your product and all that. And then it's like, and I can barely sell enough to even make $3,000. It's so, the struggle is real. Art is the most useless part of an RPG, and unfortunately one of the most important to sell the game. I understand the context of what you're saying, Chris. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. I know your argument is going to be at the core of the RPG, the art does nothing functionally in an RPG. Although my rebuttal would be that it's the tone and feel. Like if it's cartoony art, and I say cartoony as in kind of light and fun and bright colors, it conveys a different image in my brain on the game we're playing. Where if you do Streets of Avalon and it's all black and white, and I mean, look at Merc Borg, look at Cyborg. Like, if you take Cyborg or Merc Borg and you lump them into just regular fantasy and cyberpunk, nope, not even close, in my opinion. Not even close. Well, it's grim dark. Have you seen the art of Merc Borg? Like, it's not everybody's. It doesn't tickle everybody's fancy by any means. But I'll tell you what, you look at it and this is what this game is about. Like, but it's yeah, you could talk about art for hours. Text is more important than art. Maybe. Is it more important? There's plenty of I mean, you have to read it. It's part of the role-playing game. It conveys certain mechanics. It's like a mathematic formula. You know, you could put an image of 4 apples on one side and then a plus sign and then 2 oranges. And then, you know, what does that equal? And you could do the math, but it comes down to the numbers for sure. But I don't think art is as low as I'm interpreting from you. Wait. Yeah. I think Chris is hitting a hot button for sure. Boink. Concept art is a thing for a reason, says Christian Serrano. Tiffany Reynolds says, it's why Chromatic Chameleon Studio only put out one product. Just because of the art cost, I'm guessing. Yeah. Orcus Dorcas says, of course, text is more important. You don't have a book without it, but saying art is useless. Sorry, don't agree. Yeah. Chris is he's doubling down, folks. Ease up, though. Don't get too nuts in there. Chris says, useless. You don't need art to play a game or even read the game. A short piece of fiction is better at setting tone and style than art. Layout is more artistically worthy than the pieces that get placed in the book. Ooh. I challenge any RPG designer, publisher to not put art in their product and no art on the cover. I challenge them. I think you will find how useful it is. That's what I would say. You will find out very quickly. I know what you're saying, Chris, but I think you're getting I would say that it's a little strong. It's a little strong. Because yes, of course, to Orcus Dorcas's point, yeah, you got to read the text. You got to understand it. You got to know the mechanics. You got to do that through text for sure. And you're right. Some people will say it's more important for me to read this one sheet of paper to understand the rules of how to play this role-playing game. But I think if it's beyond a sheet of paper, right? We're not talking about the one sheet RPG. If you want to sell it, it's got to have something that conveys a little bit more of the tone and feel. Yeah, and you say in your argument, you'd say, well, you could do that using text. I think they're not mutually exclusive in RPGs. That's me. But thank you for spurring the chat and making sure everybody's awake. Get your O2 tanks on. We're going to get deep. Art is the first impression of any game. We all know how important those are, says Wayne. Chris says sheep. Wow. Look at him. Look at him. He's like, I don't know why. Who is in the chat? Who is Chris S? And why did you steal his account? Tad says, without art, a game designer had better be an incredibly skilled and compelling writer to convey a tone. Evocative writing plus art is a force multiplier. Wayne says, heck no, it's not useless. Chris says, Underground is more about the layout than the art in the book. Interior art and poor layout have kept me from reading certain RPGs for years. Other choices just kept me from connecting with the game. See Headspace. Inferior, he said. Inferior art, not interior art. Inferior interior art. Adrian, good morning. Art is a huge attractor for customers. It's mechanically useless, perhaps. Exactly. But real world, it is vital. It also conveys so much about the attempted feel of the game. Agreed. Chris says, and yes, people care more about art because it's the showpiece. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're welcome. Adrian says, for a newbie, it also can give an example of what situations the game can put characters in. Yeah. Some people and Chris just want to watch the world burn, I suppose. Michael Hahn, art is 100% essential. Look, I think the majority of us have an appreciation for art, no question. Chris's argument is that to have an RPG, it's not as important to him. Chris, we're going to have to talk during GameholeCon, you and I. We're just going to have to talk. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to hash this out. No sumo suits. we gotta talk, buddy. Wonder what's going on, what the appeal is to some of Free League's games. Art not being important, as for RPGs. Like, dude, we gotta. I'm gonna intervene. Meet you and I. I'm gonna have an intervention for Chris when he comes out the game hole. Wayne says layout and art are related in that if they are bad, your words have a hell of a hard time trying to make up the ground you've lost. I will go as far to say that if you wanted to, the younger you go, art might be even more important, right? Like, if you ever read a kid's book with no art, like, there's a reason, like, some of these kids' books have these big, crazy illustrations. Like, the text on a page is literally like 2 sentences. Hi, Sam, I am. Right? Like, they identify with the image. It's because, again, they don't know how to read. Here you go with the sumo suits. Chris says, it's fine. I'll be the villain today. People care too much about arts. It's disproportionate to its actual importance. All right, so I'll pose this to Chris. Everybody relax. Okay, let's hear this guy out here. This guy, like he's some guy that just walked in off the street. All right, Chris. So what's your view, your perspective on AI art? So is Encoded Designs considering using AI art for their products? Adrian says, I can see where Chris is coming from. Haha. But art is such a big piece of RPG culture. I have to disagree. Haha. Yes. You best bring the intervention sign. For sure, man. Absolutely. Show me on the canvas where art hurt you, Chris. I've been done wrong by art in the past. I'm not going to let it happen again. Tiffany says, yes, I was going to say the same thing. If your target audience is 15 to 25, art matters. Hell, 15 to 25, I'm talking like 10, 6 to 10 years old, right? Not even 10, maybe even younger, 6, maybe 4 to 6. Like the picture books, art. No Thank You Evil, right? I don't know if No Thank You Evil goes that young, but I think we're on the same page, Tiffany. Nicholas Abruzzo, my buddy, good to see you, man. Without art, D&D would it have become popular? Art is just as important as text. Yeah. I think Chris just wanted to throw a flash bomb in the middle of the chat room today. That's all. He might even tell me at Green Holcott, man, I really stick by art. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I would argue the board games, Underground, Symbaroum, and Basin are vastly different games without the art. Yeah, what's Star Trek without art? Now, granted, we had the TV show, but it's visual, right? Case in point, look at the original series in Star Trek and look at the Next Generation. And if there weren't any visuals, how would you know the difference between the both of them? One would say, well, look at Strange New Worlds. That's modern, but it takes place before the original series. Now, that's just the era that it came out in, right? Our cinematography and set design have come a long ways, but shields up. Blake Ryan says, yes, I would agree. The value of art in RPG books is disproportionate. Disproportionate, maybe. But Chris said outright useless. I would never use it in a product. For the record, Chris has said when posed about Encoded Designs, he would never use it in a product, which I can imagine he's referring to AI, art generated from AI. Harrigan says, Tales from the Loop 2. Morning, Kevin. Good to see you. Kevin, we got into who's your favorite RPG artist? So you can answer that question. And then we got into how important art is. And then Chris decided to go against the heavy grain today and say that it's useless in RPGs. Throwing everybody into a complete chaotic kerfuffle. Layout is underrated? Oh, I don't know about that. I'll case in point, Chris. So I know how Phil's take is, but you tell me. So you don't have a problem with Pelgrim Press's 3-column layout, is what you're saying. Underrated? And I'm interpreting as not important. So you may say it's important, but not as high by saying underrated. So M. Catron. Art carries a lot of weight no matter the game. It sends the brain signals faster than text. Walk in any bookstore, how many books have we passed on because of cover art? Yeah. Never judge a book by its cover. Okay. Orcus Dorcas, I will agree that layout is the most important aspect to your book. The board games are primarily about the art, for sure, Harrigan. I'm not about buying those games for the system. Nelson, art. Look at Nelson. Good to see you, Nelson. Art in a monster manual is very important. For sure. Bam. You could describe it. Although I do like describing it more now so people can like develop it in their own mind. But for sure, I think there's a component of just, as a matter of fact, rather than describe it, just showing the pictures, like this is what you see. Like just in case you're wondering what tone of green it is and how sharp a teeth they have. The art and layout of the board games is why I will never touch them. Well, that's fair, Blake. You don't have to like the art. You don't have to appreciate it. But would you buy the games without the art, Blake? Like, would you? Because I don't know if you know about the games. Like, if those are your style of games. Because I'm interested to hear. I'm interested to hear your answer, Blake. So I'm putting you on the spot. So Blake, if you looked at Cyborg and Merkborg, and you removed all the art, would they be two games that you would play? And I say that from I like the tone. I like dark, nasty fantasy, right? Almost on the verge of grossness and acidic type punk, cyberpunk. Neon, dirty. I'm interested to hear what Blake says. Chris says, no layout is beyond important. Oh, no, layout is beyond important. Okay. Kevin says, I'd say my favorite artist is the DCC crew. I love the line art style and the small stories that they describe. Art is part of the holistic experience. The second most important thing next to the actual text, Chris says. Layout might be more important than text, he says. Okay. I think we're somewhere. I got my wires crossed in somewhere there. Orcus bad layout and editing makes your brilliant words unreadable and your art atrocious. Tiffany Reynolds. Chris, is that just layout of art or organization of the book too? So many books fail due to organization. Oh my God, for sure. I think that's one of the number one complaints when people get like an RPG core book. Like if it's the first thing they will say is, it's just not like this is over here and this is over there. It's just not organized great, which can be a challenge. Like when you're referring to something multiple times, how do you put it into a particular area? So I didn't get the struggle is real. Lou says, I bought the art without the game. Yeah. Here's Blake's response. Nope. Not for me. With or without art. Right. So, to my point, you look at Cyborg, you look at Merkborg, you would not have picked them up even without the art. But because you've seen the art, you can make an intelligent decision to say, nope, that's not for me, because this is the tone and feel that it conveys. Bingo. Art is important. Not that you are disputing that, Blake, but. Chris says, yeah, Blades is a trash book because the organization is terrible. Well, I think trash book is a little harsh, but okay. Not organizationally efficient. Catron says, art creates flavor in what could be considered a bland and boring textbook. Chris is preparing us for the Lorem Ipsum RPG. Oh, that's hilarious. Mr. Panther 54. Hey, everyone, late to the stream. What is the question of the day? Question of the day, which we it's been in the past, but we'll talk. Mr. Panther, for you directly, who is your favorite RPG artist? Excuse me. I greatly dislike reading RPG books that have minimal art and giant blocks of text. Spoiler, I've never been able to get through Night's Black Agents. Chris says, yes, yeah, Kevin. That Pelgrim layout is brutal. Boom. It is. It's terrible. Adrian Allen says, my favorite game, Quantum Black, doesn't have great art. I've purchased my own art for my game because we enjoy it so much. Question was favorite artist, like just informing. Ted says, we are getting perilously close to you are enjoying that game wrong. Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, maybe, but I don't care who plays what, honestly. Jason says organization and hierarchy, critically important, and few publishers are good at these. Paizo, for all the density of material, does an excellent job of presenting elements on a page. Christian says, is Pelgrin just copying 3E D&D books? 3E D&D books, not 3-column. I'm specifically NBA, Knights Black Agents. I don't know about the rest of the properties. I don't remember if Trail of Cthulhu is 3-column. But Knights Black Agents is makes me cringe. Tiffany says, when I was thinking about publishing and looked at Kickstarting, I was thinking a stretch goal would be an art book set at the price of the art of the book. That is a wonderful idea. That is a fantastic idea. If you could pull it off. I know some artists like you can use it, but then there's maybe terms on how you can use it. But that's not a bad idea to subsidize some of your project. Chris says, I love Forged in the Dark games, but that book is a barrier to entry. Dorcas, oh God, Pelgrin's Dracula Unredacted is horrid, unreadable. Christian Serrano, is it worse? Yes, Knights Black Agents is 3-column format, man. It's terrible. Read it on a freaking tablet, like on a smaller form. It's not. I mean, you can read it. It's you can consume it. It's just why 3 columns on an 8.5 by 11 book, and it's just terrible if you're putting it on a tablet. I'm not sure of the use case. Excuse me, I'm sorry for coughing in the mic. My least favorite monster in any game is the ominous wall of text. Yeah. It's daunting. It's like, I need something to break it up. Jason White, so Paizo also does an excellent job of chaptering its splat books and adventures. They also have, in my opinion, the cleanest monster blocks. Yeah. For the system, for sure. Like the problem I have is not probably the clean or dirty monster blocks. It's like the how big they are for the game. Trail of Cthulhu is 3 columns too. Good to know. Thanks, Blake. Yeah, so there you go. I don't know about the other ones. Like there's Esoterus. There is, what's the other one? Swords of the Serpentine. Wayne should be able to answer that question. Harrigan said I gave up on Trail minutes after starting it. They did do Fall of Delta Green, which I don't think is 3 column. I could go look. Pelgrin does it just to slam words on the page because those folks write so many words. So many words. Words, so many words. There's a meme. It's all words. It's just words. Everywhere, as far as the eye can see, words. Wayne says, if we are doing layout, OSE's tomes are my North Star. Form factor, size, super clean layout, great art, etc. Tiffany says, I love Trail of Cthulhu's green and black line art. It was so different and got the concepts across. You know who the artist is, Tiffany? I don't know. Oh my goodness. I'm going to stop that recording. And thank you for the discussion. Chris, I do appreciate the spurring of ideas or opinions because it definitely generates conversation. It's all good. But we are going to have a talk. We got to have a talk. We got to talk about Forbidden Land. We got to talk about Free League stuff, and we got to talk about your prioritizing art lower than it should be. I'll just say that. Okay, so morning, Joe Swick. You missed all the kerfuffle. You missed it all. It's over. Nope, you're just gonna have to rewind for the last 50 minutes. This is your fault, Sean. You asked. I put on my black hat. Yeah. Oh, Joe, thanks. I got to shave this thing. It's driving me nuts. Plus, it makes me look like 20 years older. I don't know why I'm growing it. I think I have something in mind. I think Trail of Cthulhu artist is Jerome Huguin. Huguin. Gwynn. I know that there's like, you got, there's an umlaut in there. And yeah. Keep it lower pompadour. No. The higher the hair, the closer to God. Jason Weitzel says rulebook designers, whether it's TTRPGs or any game, should complete a thought on a single page or spread, even if it means adding fluff art. The enemy of the GM is a meandering 3-column book. Oh, 3 columns, man. Ugh. Like, I don't care if it's a lot of text to get the idea across and there's some examples in there. Sure. Why 3 columns? Like, would the book be longer if it were only 2 columns? I don't know. It shouldn't be, right? Because you're using the same amount of space on a page. Like, if it was a wall of text and single paragraphed 1 column, right? You'd probably be able to put more words because then you don't have the spaces between columns. I don't know. I just wonder why they made that decision. Why? Why, Simon? Why? I should have asked Ken Haidt that when he was at GameholeCon one year. Hey, I got a question for you, Ken. Why in the hell did Pelgrin decide to do 3-column format for NBA and Trail? Why? Please help me. Please tell me you had nothing to do with that and that you begged Simon not to do it that way. Positive force. All right, let's get into some other stuff, right? Let's get in here. We'll get into this. Look, okay, full disclosure. I don't have a lot of this. Like, I haven't looked over a lot of these things. So we're winging it. Like, just winging it. Winging it. All right, so we'll start off. Columns are used because long lines are hard to read. So maybe the logic was more columns, more easier. Accidental Rob. Look at that. Good to see you, buddy. Accidental Rob for the Accidental Survivors podcast, which I was one of the core podcasts that I listened to back in the day. Him, Chris, and Ronald Fraser, all on modern games, which was the appeal that I liked, specifically around the espionage bin. And so I had the luxury of meeting Rob at Gen Con one year. God, you could make it. Kicked off the morning with the question du jour, which was like, who's your favorite RPG artist? And then it spiraled. And then it spiraled into other things. Not really other things. Spiraled into like how important art is in an RPG. All right. So let's get down to brass tacks. Let's just steal all of Ian World's thunder and talk about some of the RPG happenings in the industry. All right. Let's see. Move that over there, this over there, close this. All right. So go to Ian World for some good Ian World love. Paizo had a lot of announcements this week. First up, multi-year licensing deal with Tabletop Town. Tabletop Town! Not to be confused for Chaco Town. I don't know. Did you guys know about Tabletop Town? I did not know about them. They're bringing Pathfinder and Starfinder to mobile gaming. Tabletop Town's system brings back the asynchronous play from the era of play-by-post of message boards and chat rooms, as you can join an RPG game and take your turn when you have time. Play-by-post people, hello. Harrigan, you picking up what I'm putting down here? So Tabletop Town, when I thought about it, I was like, oh, they're porting, like, it's a micro game, right? It's a mobile, builder game or something that's licensing Paizo and Starfinder or Pathfinder property, right? No. It's a play-by-post type of platform is what it is. So a great alternative for players with busy schedules who want to play with friends but can't find the time to get together all at once, allowing each player to interact when they can squeeze out the time. The app is currently in beta for iPhone and Android, and the rules and adventures for Pathfinder and Starfinder will be available for purchase from the in-app marketplace when it launches. So this is Tabletop Town. So yeah, check this out, folks, if you are interested. I'll take a good long look before rejecting it utterly. Well, at least you're open-minded about it. So asynchronous, player network, play with your friends or make new ones. Free. The app is entirely free with no ads. Upgrade your games with a premium subscription and creator marketplace. So it probably gives the creator some, upload more assets, be able to host more than one game, I'm guessing is some of the perks for the pay version. It's creator friendly. Creator of all kinds, including artists, writers, and game designers, can host content on our marketplace, reaching an entirely new audience. So another piece of revenue that they can capitalize on. I don't know. This might be a good way to complement even a game. Join us on their Discord, subscribe for updates, which I should probably do. There's a merch kit, press kit. Let's see what the press kit does. Let me see. Tabletop Town. If you don't know what Taco Town is, Google Saturday Night Live Taco Town, okay? And you'll know what I'm talking about. Downtime, Kevin Keneally. Yes, sir. I would think, right? Okay, all right. Let's just take a break for this for a second. If you're running, say you're playing West Marches, a big long campaign, most of us are playing a campaign, right? Serialized, whatever. And most of us are probably using Discord, Facebook groups, forums, whatever. But is that the right format? Is it the right medium for conducting RPG-related outside the game stuff? And I would argue, no. Is it the best? No. Does it work? Yes. Are they good? More than likely. If it's doing the job and you have them set up correctly and your players are jamming on it and they can find what they need, great. But there's also those Obsidian Portals, there's Lore, I forgot the other one. The Lore one we talked about last week or the week before, it's driving me nuts. The campaign prep, organization, there's World Anvil. But I don't know, there's some of those that are very much on the game master to put their world stuff in. Here, person creating the campaign and putting all in their deities and magic system and items and journals and da-da-da-da-da. And some of that it can be the same context of outside the game, but some of it isn't. You could almost say here's a wiki, if you were to do Star Wars, the de facto knowledge of the Star Wars world is Wikipedia. So if anybody needed to Google something, Wikipedia is going to probably bring it up so that you can see it. What's this planet? What type of species? Da-da-da-da-da. It's quicker than looking it up in your book, whatever. But for downtime stuff, could Tabletop Town be a better formatted, organized platform? Inquiring minds want to know. What's the best then, and how are you defining the best? Better. Is it better? I don't know if it's the best. Is it better? How am I defining it? I'm talking about outside the game talk, discussion, scheduling. What are you guys going to do when you're in the town? I don't want to run it, so let's do it. Let's talk about it here. Who's creating what characters? Talking about it here. There's a lot of overhead that we do that's not in the game. that we're not sitting at the table. Some of us do it at the table, like it's part of the game experience. We're just going to get at the table, and the first 3 hours of an 8-hour day, it's just going to be shooting the shit and getting the characters done and expressing cats and doing session 0 stuff, la 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 la. But when you talk about like game mechanics like downtime or something like that, which is actually part of the spiel in some games, do you want to sit at the table and do downtime? Or is it something that people can do on their own? You get back to the town, pull up Tabletop Town, talk about what your character is going to do for the 1 week in game back in the village. And if it's it's different than play by post, right? Harrigan knows better than I do. And play by post has a ton of this because it's all text, even the in-game stuff, right? But is there stuff that you could do by play by post? Like this thing's, I mean, obviously he's going to do, it is, that's what that is. So shopping. Yeah. Got to run. See you, Lou. Thanks for stopping by. Harrigan says, I think Discord works well for that, but for in-character play, there are better tools. This might be one of them. Right. Roll a cat, express check. Right. You know, this could be, so I think the angle I'm going for is some of us do not play by post. That doesn't mean this tool it could not be of use to us. That's my point. And it could be of use to us in a format that presents the material better or makes the information flow better than, I don't know, I use Discord because I use Discord for everything. And the more you use something for everything, the less good it is at like a single thing. That's all I have to say about that. So I thought it was interesting. I totally was like, oh, Tabletop Town. Oh, they're a little micro game developer and they're going to use their properties. No, it's like play by post outside the game, blah, blah, blah. Great. It's a mobile platform to play tabletop role-playing games anywhere. But what exactly are tabletop role-playing games? They talk about it. And there aren't any current mobile solutions for these players. The easy to use mobile platform ready to change the way you play. An async, like I will even challenge Harrigan, like there's some play by posts formats. He knows, he'll admit this. They use like old style forums. Now there's ones that have kind of brought things up technologically to make it better, to facilitate play by post games and what they need. But man, old forums for that format, I could see why this thing has a marketplace. Hey, let's take PHP-BB. Oh, God. And, you know, never mind like the hackability of those things. So this is pricing. It's so free. Thoughts on the OGL, blah, blah, blah. So I will subscribe to these guys and see, and I will sign up for their beta to see what it's like. Because if I were on West Marches, maybe it's a good place to like organize and muster and talk amongst everybody at their own leisure. We'll see. There are mobile apps already. They just aren't good. Right. Fair. Or they're mobile optimized. Mtron says, I wonder how well these might work for players with accessibility needs. For example, 2 of my long-distance players are blind. Wonder how well this would work for them. Yeah, it could be formatted better for accessibility. My gut tells me maybe not. It depends on if they put that at the priority. The problem with the accessibility standards is, well, not the problem. The struggle with web accessibility, I think, I could be wrong, I'm not blind, full disclosure, is that, well, and a lot of government sites have to adhere to that, right? Accessibility. And a lot of government websites are done and they're not very aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Of course, that'd be me. But they should be optimized for accessibility, no question. But I think that's the trade-off, right? So you get corporate, that America that's like, well, this site, we need it to be all this flashy stuff, and it needs to be, I have to imagine I worked for a web shop, and I've got to imagine our website was not accessible, like to readers and things like that. It was a lot of like this would slide in over here, and then you'd click on one thing, and then that would slide down and load. It was like, there's no way this thing could be accessible. It says, no doubt. Most PvP play-by-post games run on age-old form tech, and it's painful, right? PHPBB, baby. Joe Swickster. Anyways, I'll put a link in the chat for these guys so you can. I did too. Did I put it in there? I did put it in there. Okay. Tabletop down. And then they got new releases, which I'm not going to go into a ton of details for Pathfinder Society, Starfinder Society, some scenarios. Releasing in August, they have Pathfinder Rage of Elements, and then they have another adventure path, number 1 of 3 for Sky King's Tomb, Starfinder Adventure Operation Seaside Park, and then Pathfinder Adventure A Few Flowers More. A Few Flowers More. Interesting. So there you go. All sites need to be accessible. You can get sued if it's not. True. Yes. Good point. My apologies. Thank you for correcting me, Christian Serrano, who has worked in the field. But there's levels of accessibility, and I don't think, and some of them, I would doubt many people hit the top 2 tiers. Ty, good to see you. In theory, I love the idea of play-by-post, but in reality, the PC to NPC communication and when to talk or take action confuses the puck out of me. Well, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. And that's okay. That's okay. What else we got talking? What are we talking? What are we talking? We're talking. All right. We talked about lore masters, Pathfinder lore masters, their agreement with lore masters to do the VTT. No, wrong? I'm wrong. Lore Masters, a trivia game covering the rules and lore Pathfinder for mobile devices. Set up for release in October. 200 free questions, 5 difficulty levels. Flex your Pathfinder chops. Pathfinder Elemental Stones. It is Pathfinder Night at the Disco. This is what I'm talking about right here. Licensing deal between Paizo and the augmented reality tabletop simulator Mirror Scope. That's made its rounds. Look how cool that looks. Let's see if they can get it out the door, shall we? At the time, we were still waiting on the promised open beta, but now it's here and available for iOS and Android. Beta version includes support for Ds&Ds, Pathfinder, and Starfinder, with support from miniature and terrain companies like Hero Forge, Dwarven Forge, Reaper, and Norse Foundry. We brought that up in the past. There you go. Go check it out if you want to see what it looks like. D&D, a giant-size adventure, this at Gen Con, live event on Twitch. Go and see it. Great. Shadowrun, Shoot Straight, new book from Catalyst Games. The Runner Resource Book for 6th World Edition. Shadowrun, Shoot Straight. $50, $20 for the PDF. Get them, chummers. WizKids announced pre-orders for the Watchtower box set as part of the Warlock system of connecting miniature terrain. Assembled, this set stands 14 inches tall and contains 3 floors that can be removed in sections to follow the action up and down the tower. Ooh, $289. Whoa-wee. Whoo-wee. Terrain, man. Oosh. Pretty, cool set pieces. Love to see them at conventions. I don't think I'd ever want to run a game with that stuff anymore. Steep, yeah, man. Print it yourself. Laramie, good to see you, buddy. All right, so that was kind of like, hey, this is the news summation for the week at EN World, the News Digest, which has had a lot of Pathfinder stuff in it. But hey, let's see what else is up. crowdfunders, biggest ones of all time. That's still up. That's up there. Interesting. Tabletop Town. Where is it? Where is it? RPG Print News. Print News. EN World. Yeah. I take it directly from EN World. They save me a lot of time. What can I say? All right. What are we talking about? Print News. Dragonbane. Play quack quack, shucky ducky quack quack. Dragonbane RPG core set by Free League. Keep in mind, I love Free League. I don't play ducks. Shucky ducky quack quack. Box set, $50. Who's got them? Who's got it? Who's got their Dragonbane? In other RPG news, an interview with Thomas Herenstam. They have on there. PC's adventure through a setting full of magic, mystery, and adventure. Now, Dragonbane is not new. It's newer released. Goes back to 1982 when it was originally launched. We're huge in Scandinavia. Finally got my ship notice. Orcus Dorcas. Kevin, it arrived while I was in Colorado. Nice. Some people got it. Nice. Bravo. Next one, Gangs of Titan City. Spence Brown Cox by Soul Muppet Publishing. It's a unique system, hardcover core rulebook collection of pamphlet games. $50 or $34. In Gangs of Titan City, PCs are desperate gutter scum. Hey. Who will either dominate the underworld as crime lords or end up riddled with bullets. Hey, everybody's got to make their way. Got to be earners. They must navigate a grimdark nightmare super city that wants them dead. The super city wants them dead? The super city opens up and swallows them. The PCs start out as a small fish in a very big and murky pond and steadily wrestle control of more of the city away from gangland rivals, but also from institutions that want to crush them. I want you to, like, whenever you see this, I want you to think of the city as a monster. Use 2d6 to resolve outcomes and comes with a toolbox of gang archetypes, gang member playbooks, rules for arcane and unknowable tech, sector hex map generation tools, and a rogues gallery. There you go. And then they got the pamphlets. Devil Grinder, Jetpack in the Dream, Spiral, The Sign Bearer. Go Power Rangers! Renegades Game Studios Across the Stars. Hardcover supplement. Includes rules for space travel and foes from the Machine Empire, Trubian Empire, Pirate Queen Divatox's Marauders, and the forces of the United Alliance of Evil. And Sean has no idea about anything Power Rangers. Classic villains include Astronema, General Ottoman, Scorpius, and Dark Spectre. Spectre with an ER, not an RE or an OR. Enemies range from the new bounty hunters like Darkonda and Dane to fearsome Psycho Rangers. Sweet, dude. See you, Kev. Yay, what's up, Tim? Rob's going to be like all in on the Renegade Studios properties. G.I. Joe, what else they got? Across Power Rangers. Probably. I'm missing a few probably. Yeah. Tabletop Town tested and rejected. Hey, it's in the beta. Come on now. Come on, Arrogant. It's in beta. Exalted Funeral Analog Survey #1 for Mothership. Hey, did you guys ever hear about Mothership? There's this one cool game that was released a while ago and then it had a Kickstarter. Shots fired. Hey, yo. Come on, Sean. Get it out the door, man. Our Orcus Dorcas have a love-hate relationship with Soul Muppet Publishing. Enjoy their games, but Jelly Muppet can be a complete arse. I do not know. Christian created a tabletop town account, trying to figure it out. Not sure what to do next with it. Start a game, man. Invite players. I don't know. Get them in there. You can't spell hater without Harrigan. Oh, I don't know. Analog Survey, a catalog of the rarest and most righteous mixtapes in the galaxy for the inaugural edition of the zine and the Deep Dig sourced cassettes that were previously only a part of the Void Church's archives and high clearance corporate cleanups. The librarians of the Analog Survey are dedicated to the liberation of the auditory landscape through dissemination, preservation, and occasionally direct action. Yeah, that was them at Avito Station. Their concern is oral deliverance. The zine was made using scissors, glue, and a dash of blood, sweat, and tears. Ranges from the long-enduring Ghost Dance series to a classified artifact simply known as Pater's Tape. Use as inspiration when planning out a session or hand it out to players so they can immerse themselves in some interstellar music knowledge. Sweet. Shadowrun Shoot Straight went through that. $50. It's out there. Sundering. The Nation Benefit Beneath. What is up with me? The Nation Beneath Our Feet. Unlikely Heroes Studios for 5th edition. It said the dimension-shaking nature of the Sundering moves the PCs to the Zwari Nation. The Zwari Nation is located in the middle of an unknown ocean. It could be an all-new world or could exist in the wider worlds the PCs already know. Next one, Hunter's Full Moon Trilogy by Midnight Tower for 5th edition. Hardcore cover. I'm going to give up pretty soon. Hardcover Adventure Trilogy. 3 adventures designed for characters of level 1 to 3, but includes scalable encounters to suit any level 1 from 1 to 20. Also includes the compendium Gudrun Astori's Guide to the Wild. The remote village of Buckridge is surrounded by untamed wilderness that is filled with ferocious beasts like frostwolves and is under threat. The PCs must enter the wild and search for Queen Freya's Swiftsteel's long-lost tomb and uncover ancient dwarven secrets. Next one, 5th edition, Deck of Many Animated Spells, Level 8, Volume 1 by Hit Point Press. I think they've done a few of those. Danger Island Denizens by WizKids. Pathfinder, 2nd edition, Fists of the Ruby Phoenix, pre-painted figs. $50. Ooh-wee. $50, huh? 6 per 1 box? Or 1? 6 of the 1 box, and then the 1 single fig. Yeah, miniatures, you got to paint them. They're not cheap. Later, Harrigan. So there is that stuff. Yeah. So there you go. Crowdfunding. Let me grab a Coke quick. 1 second. 1 second. This one's for you, Blake Ryan. Don't let your kids drink vanilla Coke or any soda. It's bad for them. It's a lot of sugar. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. All right. All right. I got to put this somewhere where it's going to get messy. Mountain Dew. No Mountain Dew, man. Coke Zero. Vanilla Coke. Rob, yes. As a matter of fact, on my Patreon, if you'd like, there is a Vanilla Coke level. Just saying. Cheers, buddy. All right. Nectar of the Gods. I'm thinking like Vanilla Coke or beer. Like health-wise. Chris, welcome to the Vanilla Coke Club, buddy. I am nursing that Tullamore Dew for sure. My diet won't allow the glory of vanilla Coke. I understand. I shouldn't either. All right. Crowdfunding. All right. Let's see. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Traveler Con. Anybody been to Traveler Con? Decepticon? So the first one for crowdfunding, Nightmare Over Ragged Hollow. Old School Essentials, OSE. End date is August 2nd. Today is July 29th. This is the recording, July 29th. So the morning of. And so most of these on EN World, they only post them the last week that they're usually on their crowdfunding platform. Okay. So if you're like, oh, this is old, that's why. They post them to get them over the hump, I think, at the last minute. This is €22 shipping. The Mary Mushman and other reviewers liked Joseph R. Lewis's Ragged Hollow Nightmare so much that TMM picked up the adventure, expanded its content, and gave new outstanding artwork by Leon, advertised as a great introduction for GMs and players to old school gaming. This 80-page adventure centers around Ragged Hollow, a haunted strip of land. Now see, this artwork conveys a certain tone and feel. It's funded. Look at that. €2,000 goal. It's at 58,000. Bravo. 3 days remaining on that one. Oktoberfest. Special 5th anniversary limited edition hardcover for OSE from Appendix N Entertainment. So this is an adventure for $25. Shipping and handling for the PDF and print versions. After 3 printings of the Oktoberfest adventure as a zine, Appendix N is adding new content and more pages, plus a hardcover in a special edition that will be out in time for Halloween. I know Augie's going to start thinking with something. Augie's my cat. Has anybody on the Oktoberfest zines in the past? Oh, Rob, I accidentally stopped drinking soda, and vanilla Coke is the only one I miss. Man, off after my own heart. It's so bad. It's so bad. Moderation. That's the key for me. Rob, with Sean's voice putting me to sleep, add a beer on top of that, I would be out fast. That's the dulcet tones, buddy. Orcus says I've backed it 1 year. It's good OSR stuff. It's a little short. Woo, 6K pledge is not gonna make it. Not gonna make it. 6K goal. It's at 1,500. Ooh. That's unfortunate. Unless they get $886 worth of pledges in the last 5 days. The Straight Way Lost. Adventure and source book for 5e from Vortex Verlag. Source book €70 by Melina Sado about the project. Inspired by Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy. This 5e campaign lets you save Florence, Italy as you adventure through the world of Dante's story. 400-page book. Offers crunch to add to your campaign, including new classes. If the idea of experiencing a magical Renaissance world using 5e's rule sets interests you, check out the campaign. There's just always a theme with 5th edition. It's always like new classes, new creatures, more powers, blah, 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 blah. It's okay. If you play 5e, you love it, great. It's just one of the things that's like gotten me burned out. Tiffany would love to see a site that tracked crowdfunding failures to see why. Yeah. Wow, it seems like if you slap 5e on your Kickstarter, it's going to be successful. Oh, Rob, if you only knew. Like every weekend. Geez, how long have I been doing this, guys? A year, maybe? I should probably look up my first live stream. It's actually been a year. Almost maybe to the day. No, more than a year. Because we sunset Gaming and BS in June. June 27th was our last Gaming and BS episode. And I started streaming right before the end of that podcast. I only say that, Rob, because most of those covered crowdfunding. Like this page, Ian World, bring it up, go through. You would be blown away at how many succeed. Now, to Tiffany's point, we probably don't know the ones that maybe don't. Well, that's not necessarily true because most of the, if it's 5e, typically it'll be on Ian World, whether it funds or not. And I'm telling you, their batting average, ridiculous. Ridiculous. They seem to have the majority of the crowdfunding campaigns and they seem to fund. Like, it's just amazing. It literally is like, it's a no-brainer. Well, you got this cool, you're going to do this cool book. Yeah. What are you going to do in a particular system? Well, 5e. Well, do you want to make money or do you want to make money? Do you want to have a successful Kickstarter or do you just want to do it because you love the game that you're going to make it for, like something else? Who is calling me? I mean, come on, that's such a cool idea, and they ruined by not doing something that fits the game idea. This one barely made it. Yeah, it did, but it did. WotC starves its market for content. When a third-party publisher comes out with something, people devour it. You mentioned we did have that conversation, didn't we, Christian? Like, is it just the lack of content that WotC's put out? So third parties are just like, whoop. Chris says when WotC tied up their content release schedule, the product quality took a dive. Yeah, well, there you go. That's that one. Next one, 5e. Another one. Dungeon Scribe's Magical Oddities, item tome for D&D 5th edition. Source book, $60. Print and hardback. Print and hardback, it's kind of one and the same. Print and PDF. 500 magic items. 500 magic items. Just imagine buying every single supplement that's ever been made for 5th edition and put it all into one. Like, can you imagine the amount of stuff players could take advantage of? The campaign offers a tome and cards with over 500 illustrated magic items for 5e. Now, I will say, going back to our earlier conversation on art, this would be a hard one to do. 500 cards with text describing magic items. I missed the 3E monthly release days. I loved it. Sue me. Yeah, I don't know if it was that bad. I bought my 3.0 stuff or 3.5 stuff. But I was very selective. I got the Tome of Magic, the spell book, the Book of Spells, whatever. Like, I was a utility guy. That's the way I looked at some of these books. Like, even in Star Wars, I didn't buy every class book. It was like the gadgets, the spaceships, the core book, and then all the adventures. Here's one. Anyone have a good book for low-powered trinkets? Well, and here's the thing, too. Like Pathfinder and Paizo, when they came out with the subscription model, which they still, I believe, have. Every month, man. Oh, I'm waiting for the next one, Rise of the Ruin Lords. Next one, I'm waiting for Shackled, the Skull and Shackles, like the next thing. Not bad. Not a bad model. Was it $20 for like the 96-page module? I subscribe. Like, this is what I want. As soon as it's out. I give Paizo a lot of credit for that model. Next one, and that's funded. Like, look at that. 10 grand, it's at 154. Slash. Read some independent stuff. Slash, the horror movie RPG from Skull Camera Games. Created by Sam Clark. I thought Craig Shipman interviewed him on Third Floor Wars. I think it was Sam. $19 for the PDF versions of the books. It's an original system, core rulebook. Do you need more slasher horror at your gaming table? In this RPG, there's a slasher. You play as the victims, and the story format is the 3-act structure. The core mechanics use proprietary 6-sided dice that represent skills, bonuses, and fear-driven penalties, each with a different number and symbols. Characters have to manage their fears to prevent penalties even as the slasher stalks them. The full set of this game provides options for quick start slashers and locations to be stalked. I'm interested how they pull this off. Like with the dice. Characters have to manage their fears to prevent penalties even as the slasher stalks them. So again, I've talked about this before. Game system or system matters, or how does the game facilitate a slasher film? How does it facilitate, like, oh, I have to keep my fears in check. How do I do that? And then if I don't, it penalizes me. And then as the slasher stalker comes after me, like, and I'm sure they tackled that, which is awesome. It's not just, hey, let's do D20 slasher film movie, and people have a standard array and skills and you roll the dice, but there's a stalker that comes after you. I don't know if I don't think it's a new edition. I think so there is a couple slasher type games out there, Tiffany. So this one I believe is brand new. And it's like out there. 33K of 9K gold with 1 week to go if you want to get in on it. This and that. Savage Worlds. Let's get savage and Pathfinder compatible. This and that print collection from Sneak Attack Press. It's on backer kit. D&D 5th. It's for D&D 5th edition, Pathfinder 2nd edition, and Savage Worlds Adventure edition. It's a source book, $30 for the PDF and print on demand discount coupon for the print book in your system of choice. Offers gear, some common, some magical, but all important to fantasy RPGs, rarely detailed in other books. I am interested to see where this is at. Let's take a gander, shall we? Because it has 5th edition as part of it, so did it automatically fund? And it did. $1,000 goal and hit 2,600 with 100 backers. 12 days left. There you go. For each piece of gear, we include real world history of fantasy, spin, new magic items, new monsters, and more. First 8 topics in this and that line as a single print volume. Topics include lock and chain, rope and chain, secret and cipher, torch and lantern, book and shelf, hourglass and sundial, pack and pouch, cart and wagon. What's inside? 31 new magic items, 25 new monsters, 6 new spells, 4 new traps, new weapons, new equipment, random tables, real world history, optional rules, and that's not it. There's more. You just have to go over to Backer Kit, sign up, log in, back at the highest pledge. It'll be yours. All these items and more. Get it while it's hot. See ya, Rob. Thanks. Good to see you, man. All right. Good. Hey, hit subscribe. Hey, you jokers. Subscribe. Thumbs up. Or down. Hit the bell to be notified. Forgot to hit the people that already left. All right. Call of Cthulhu, Graveyards of Arkham by Chaosium. This thing's going to be out of the water. Blown out of the water. Hit its goal, exceeding all expectations, right? Oh, no, this is a streaming series. Oh, shoot. I thought it was a book. Oh, there's a book. $32 for the PDFs of 3 adventures plus a map, and your name will appear in each episode. What? I don't understand. So is it a stream? It's streaming actual play series. Most popular pledge, 32 for the PDFs. So it's the PDFs that they're running in the AP? Is that what I'm gathering? Am I getting this? Am I picking up what everybody's throwing down? I don't know. WGA and SAG-AFTRA strike note. At the time of this writing, actual plays are not subject to work stoppages related to the writer strike in the United States. You know, why did they have to put that in there? Because I'm gonna nerd rage on these guys because of the strike, and they're not supposed to be doing this. CM Catron. Chad says, I like the real history angle. Good idea. Call back to those all about halberds articles in Dragon. Yeah. This is the sequel to the Bookshops of London. The Bookhounds, you mean? Bookhounds of London. My favorite AP this year. Oh, interesting. Oh, really? Bookshops of Arkham. Oh, interesting. Okay. I know Brett ran Bookhounds, which is another one. So yeah, 32K out of a 10K goal. So showcasing high-end production values, including professional sets, costumes, and walk-on NPCs. This is a stunning actual play series. How good is the project? The first project in the anthology Bookshops of Arkham is nominated for Best Podcast in the 2023 Annie Awards. Is it a podcast? I don't know. I think a lot of them are on YouTube. That's okay. Whatever. Speaking of those, that the voting is over, and Seth Skorkowski is part of it as well, and he did a little promo. And did I vote for Seth? I don't know. I might have voted for the podcast. I'm not sure. We'll see how it wins. Hosted by Mark Meir, the players of Graveyards of Arkham include Patrick Logan, Josephine McAdam, Lucia Verspril, creator of the Islands of Sina Una for 5e, and Nora Ibrahim. Nora, I know, who's like on 5 other streams. What a way to, man, just play games all the time. That'd be awesome. Kickstarter campaign allows you to support the next chapter in the series. There you go. Check it out. Next one, Traveler Con. It's in October. Ooh, they're doing a Kickstarter now for October. Wowee, wow, wow. Wowzy, wow, wow. October 20th to the 23rd in Pennsylvania, in Lancaster. $35 for a weekend pass to the convention. Wow. It's funded. $1,500 is all they needed. They got 7. Do you love Traveler? Then this is the gaming convention for you. Traveler Con is a convention dedicated to Traveler fans. Please tell me Mark Miller's going to be there. Doesn't say. But Traveler Con, if Mark Miller's not there, but he's going to be, I think, is he going to be at Gamehole Con this year? I don't know. He's been the last 2. Sounds like an AP verging into LARP. Yeah. Oh, so is this a LARP? He's LARPing? $30-day campaign, they'll charge the cards, have the money in 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. Well, still.